Hey guys, what's up? Do you remember Kinda Funny games? If you don't, you're probably better off, but I'm about to ruin your whole evening by reminding you of it. It all came about mainly thanks to this guy, Greg Johnson, or whatever the f his last name is. Greggy Boy over here was a huge hit within IGN's domain back in the early 2010s. So yeah, we're talking about things that go back over a decade. So it wouldn't surprise me if you have no clue who that is, or had forgotten in the meantime, or maybe you know him from presenting shows but you don't know exactly why he's presenting them. This is because this guy and his associates' relevance have tanked. Greg rose to prominence in IGN by hosting several of their own little internal shows. He had one where he interviewed celebrities, developers, and other personalities, and he also helmed the PlayStation side of IGN's reporting with his own podcast going over gaming news. His energetic hype man personality ensured that everyone knew who he was because, sadly, he was everywhere. If you were tuning into some IGN content back when people still did that, psych! Or if you were checking out E3, Gamescom, or other events, or maybe just wanting to see some interviews of some prominent game developers or voice actors, chances are you were going to see Greg Smith over here doing the reporting. I mean, holy shit, the guy won an award back in 2015 over at the Game Awards themselves called Trending Gamer 2015, which, I don't even know what to say in regards to this. It just shows how much ass-kissing went on in the games industry during this vibrant time where excess media just hyped everything with next to no resistance. Not that there was that much stuff to be resisting. There were a lot of problems with monetization during these years, but the quality or consistency of the releases were definitely better than they are now. Though there were still these small problems growing from within, and next to no people in the game's media called any of it out or held them accountable. Like, nobody listens to these official outlets anymore. The waters have been poisoned way too much by now. Way too many shitty deals, way too many untrustworthy reviews, way too much shilling, way too many god-awful games, too many bad practices ignored, and number one, above all else, way too many times where they attacked their own audiences, pretty much turning gamers against this cringy, rotten establishment of their making. So nowadays, it would actually be impossible for anybody to take Greg Frankenstein and give him a Trending Gamer award, but back then, in the midst of all this, around 2013 or so, Greggy Boy figured that he could be even bigger than IGN and strike out, do his own thing. So he got some of his boys and started a proper channel on YouTube while still working at IGN. Sometime after this though, he saw a window and made it official. Him and some boys left IGN and created Kinda Funny, an independent media company that makes their own podcasts, videos, live streams, etc., funded mostly through Patreon, or at least as far as I know. And this worked like gangbusters for them because of Greg's popularity having been the face of IGN's video game entertainment arm. He had a lot of people that recognized him and followed him on his new venture, and he also had a lot of that access that he already had with IGN because, like I said, he became the face of it. But there was a big difference between this and the concept of someone breaking away from IGN to do their own thing. Usually this is something that I would applaud someone for, kind of like how Sandfall Games broke out of Ubisoft to go make their own games and deliver this Expedition 33 this year. But that's not what Greg and his boys represent in this story. They never really broke out of IGN in that same sense. They didn't have a problem with how their business was done, they just created their own IGN basically. Well, a mini version of it, because of course IGN is still much bigger than Kinda Funny. They can't even really be compared, like it's not even close. Kinda Funny kinda just fell off over time if we're to be honest here, and some of their top guys like Greg Flanders and Andy Cortez are some of the most obnoxious, egotistical, glorified content creators you'll ever see. They've been inflated by the industry to make believe that they're these incredibly popular and influential guys here in the space. It's one of those cases where you can smell the astroturfing in the wind. You got Greg all the way back then being given awards for what? For being a gamer? And then with Andy here, you got his pinned post on his profile, which is him being featured in Times Square on some billboard ad from Twitch showcasing Hispanic heritage Twitch streamers. This shit is from 2021. It's from 4 years ago. Bro still has this pinned. But anyway, this section will surely be enough to introduce you guys to their roots and to what they do, and enough to get the ball rolling for this video. For now, let's have a look at some Disingenuous Cringe, which is what prompted this video in the first place. At the end of the day, the main issue with these guys and the thing that inspired this video is their disingenuousness. And I'm going to be talking mainly about the main guys, because there's other people working in the background doing gameplays and other stuff like that I really don't have any beef with. I don't really just know anything about them, so I just don't care. But the main boys, oh, I got a lot of problems with their disingenuousness, their proclivity to blatantly lie or misrepresent things, and the hardcore cringe that they put out onto the world as they keep falling further and further into irrelevance while pretending to still be the same old hip dudes who are down with the gaming crowd and are all about the games despite their inability to not engage in political bullshit and news. This is something you can find as a complaint from their own fans if you go looking in their subreddit. Instances of their own fans begging them to please stop getting into Twitter type of drama and coming to terms with the fact that they're no longer really about gaming and more about infotainment. Though if you look, you'll also find morons who like this kind of content from them and want them to keep going. Though to be fair, this is Reddit, so of course this is expected to an extent. The issue is they have a similar problem to what I mentioned in my recent Angry Joe and Actman video, where they engage in the culture war but not from an honest position, except in these guys' cases it's even worse. Like they're all the way out of their mind. Recently, given the success of Arc Raiders on Steam hitting a concurrent player number of 300,000, Andy commented, "Hey, have any of those grifters talked about how the characters in Arc Raiders are so multicultural and how none of them are overly sexual, or is the game too successful to bring any of that up? Let me know." Oh boy, see what I mean with this inflated sense of worth? This guy really thinks he's doing something here, but he's just making shit up. He's clearly harkening back to Concord, the massive flop from last year that cost PlayStation hundreds of millions of dollars, and that people from games media like to underplay the impact that its awful character design had, even though it was the most prominently mocked thing online about it. It's no surprise that there were other issues, but these people like to pretend as if they weren't there. And honestly, two morons can play at this game that he's trying to do here. One of the things that Concord defenders like to say about the game failing is that, oh, they were charging $40 in a space that should be free to play. Guess who else is charging $40? Arc Raiders. See how I can also play this stupid ass game? It means nothing, it goes nowhere. It's disingenuous ping pong. Now, I played Arc Raiders. I'm even considering doing a little rant because of some issues that I have with the reward structure. A video that would be about more than Arc Raiders in the end, as I would tackle a broader industry issue where online games are under-rewarding on purpose just to get more money off of you because of the live service model. Which is actually the only issue when it comes to Arc Raiders character customization. Like, what is all this nonsense about multicultural characters and stuff about sexual characters? It's just a basic character customization screen with various different ethnicities and skin colors. What is Andy going to apply this to next? Skyrim? Is Skyrim just like Concord 2 because you can make Nords, Redguards, Elves, Dark Elves, Racist Elves, Cats, Lizards, etc.? Is he going to do it to Fallout 2 because you can create a Caucasian dude, a black dude, an Asian dude, a Hispanic dude, or just about anything else that your heart desires? Whoa guys, how do you explain Fallout's success? It's multicultural just like Concord. Wokeness clearly sells. What are you, fucking stupid? The only thing this game suffers from is the usual thing where they're afraid of calling the characters male or female, so you kind of just have these two distinct silhouettes in the character creator that are clearly of either a man or a woman, but they don't name it as such. It's okay, fellas, you know, they're just not ready yet. Give them a few extra months and they'll stop appealing to the non-existent modern audience bullshit, which is actually mainly composed of wankers who moan online instead of playing the games like Andy here. Oh, they'll come around, this kind of thing is going out of fashion. But back to Andy's retarded comment. Like, go ahead, Andy. If this is at all relatable to garbage like Concord or, God forbid, Dragon Age Veilguard, then please, show me the big fat-ass character with a terrible terrible outfits, the awful color palettes, and with the fucking pronouns on screen. Show me where these things are in our creators if they are so relatable. Show me the little thing with the post-op double mastectomy scars. I'll be eagerly awaiting the reply. But of course, when you have such a delusional bad faith moron like Andy, you have to expect follower zombies of his to be trained to say and do the exact same kind of shit. So here's another genius. This one with pronouns and the horoscope in his bio. Hold on to your seats, fellas, this is gonna be a good one for sure. The same way none of them want to acknowledge Expedition 33 has strong female leads. Gold. Absolute gold, guys. Like, holy shit. It's actually so delusional that nobody has ever said this. Expedition 33 has been praised precisely because of it having strong female leads that should serve as examples for other woke slop writers in the industry to follow. Beautifully written, designed, and acted characters that stand out. This is what we want more of. This is what we praised. And it's actually precisely because we praise it that games media likes to attack this game from time to time, taking away the valor that it earned by being an indie title produced by like 30 people. And in some cases, this game is even getting snubbed on game awards, like with the Golden Joystick Awards of 2025. Andy responded with more delusion. I do remember some of them saying these are hot women protagonists, and they would include a 15-year-old Mael in the images. More fanfiction shit. Go watch this video right here, fellas. It's on screen right now in case you're an audio listener. In it, I go through a similar post to this where it's leftards sexualizing Mael for no reason, because people like this, like Andy here and his brain-dead followers, will see people bringing up Mael as being an example to follow in female character writing and design because of how all Expedition 33 female leads look beautiful, often in meme pictures like this, comparing games from the East and the West or whatever like that. Usually these pictures only show their faces, and yet they are calling people gooners. They are sexualizing the conversation themselves for no reason, because again, the memes will literally just feature the characters' faces, making it clear as day that we're talking about their beauty, not anything sexual. We're either talking about their beauty or a cool design that we enjoyed. But these disingenuous losers are the ones misinterpreting it and taking it in the sexual route. Why? Because they got nothing. They've got nothing, man. They can't argue for anything, even if it meant saving their lives. They know they already lost. All they got is personal attacks, obfuscation, theatrics, and blatant lies. If they had to actually engage in an honest conversation rooted in reality, they would be fucking cooked. So off they go, coping in the comment sections, trying their best to claim any success in the games industry as something that is theirs, something that belongs to them, something that reflects their values and politics, while at the same time trying to devalue the flops that we've seen over the last few years. Values like ugly characters, dogshit, one-dimensional, uninspired, ideologically captured writing, and just about any other recipe of shoving their ideology into games or into studios. But as we are about to explore in the next point, don't be too harsh on them for this, guys. It's literally their job. They need to do this in order to be able to still have work, otherwise they're cooked. You see, Kinda Funny Games could explore how predatory monetization ruins online experiences through a tiring, inherently broken live service model that demands that most of these games release in an unfinished form that then implies that the developers need to keep working to add more content, thereby solidifying this toxic relationship between gamers and companies where we gotta shell out more money for cosmetics and other things instead of earning them in-game like we used to in the good old days. Because hey, the developers need to keep working on the live service format that nobody asked for to complement the unfinished product that again nobody asked for. But why do that when they can just talk shit and lie about the culture war? Why do that when they could jeopardize their comfortable position being given free codes, trailers, access to interviews, previews, unboxings, events, etc. by game publishers? Nah, we might as well keep shilling on main while talking shit about other people and going for big targets every now and then like Asmongold. Now would you look at that, a lovely little segue into the next point. It's almost like I script these or something. I wasn't kidding when I said that this guy relies on shit-talking Asmongold to get himself little boy points and relevancy online, and I'm not an idiot. Like, I'm perfectly self-aware that this isn't unique to Andy or to Greg Flanderson or whatever the Anyway, a lot of people online attack other people they disagree with, especially content creators. Some viewers may even say that a lot of my traffic on my channel came from calling out the Actman, as I did alongside Angry Joe on a previous video. But the difference is, when I do that, I do take things seriously. I think about the words I'm going to say, I care about the context of what I'm criticizing, and I put in the work to put together an argument or various ones that will complement the videos that I make. Kind of like what I just did with this one. Though to be honest, I see the X-Man and Angry Joe as far more serious people and the issues that I called out as far more serious ones than these clowns. Because Angry Joe and the X-Man actually do resonate with their audiences. They actually do have relevancy of their own on their channels. I may have disagreements with them, but I don't see them as just another cringy branch of the XS media like Andy and Greg McDonald. This guy though, he actively takes Asmongold and everyone else he attacks out of context. Because within context, he knows he doesn't stand a fucking chance. Because he's not only wrong in what he says, but he's also a dumbass who can't navigate these waters. And it happens over and over. I'm gonna give you guys a blatant example of this shit that is recent and paints a perfect picture of how he operates. So here, he quote tweets some other disingenuous dumbass who throws reality out the window to pass his own message under the guise of news. That is, according to his own channel here, where he presents himself as someone who gives people the news. And I do love this channel because the first thumbnail I saw, I immediately laughed. Gamers rise up against Trump with the whole Halo thing, and it's like, really? They did they? I mean, this shit reminds me of this other post that I saw a few days ago. Gamers go scorched earth on Trump regime over its use of Halo for fascismus propaganda. And then the gamer that they line up on their thumbnail, their best example of this apparent rise against those AI memes of Orange Man and Halo is Angry Joe, who is getting ratioed in his own posts, losing his mind about it. But anyway, you can't pay too much attention to this kind of stuff, you know, liars and disingenuous people, you can't let them get into your head, otherwise we'd be here all day. But let's get to the thing. So this lobotomite goes ahead and posts, Asmongold demanding trans people be removed from the LGBTQ community is about as wretched as you would expect, which Andy quote tweeted with, trans people, that's where all the hostility comes from, said Asmongold, the ugly ass rotting corpse that constantly adds fuel to the fire so his loser ass fans can continue their bigotry of hatred. Should I have done a Hispanic accent? I mean, I can, I'm Portuguese, I'm basically Hispanic myself in a way. Maybe I should, you know what, let's do it. Trans people, that's where all the hostility comes from, said Asmongold, the ugly ass rotting corpse that constantly adds fuel to the fire so his loser ass fans can continue their bigotry of hatred. Sorry fellas, anyway, I shit you not, none of what these people just said is true. It's actually incredible to me how these magnanimous, brain-dead dumb fucks are capable of sharing video evidence in form of a clip of how wrong they are. Like really, they are posting this shit, defaming him basically, and attaching a clip that debunks what they just said on their own post. Like, let's play the actual clip right now.
The LGB is mostly fine. You're right. Trans is the main issue that people have a problem with. That is the main issue. It's not gay, it's certainly not bi, and it's absolutely not lesbians. It's trans. That's where all of the hostility, all of the negativity comes from. There should not be an LGBT. LGBT, it should just be LGB. Trans is how you see yourself. Bisexual, being gay, being a lesbian is how you see other people. Being trans is not a sexuality. All three of the other ones are sexualities. Yeah, trans is a big problem. Well, I don't know about being a big problem. I don't think it's a big problem. What I'm saying is, like, the trans issues are, they're much more divisive and they're much more, like, people have, like, much stronger feelings on the trans issues than they do about gay issues or something like that. Obviously, there's some people that don't like any of it, but in a general sense, I think that's what's going on.
So first of all, a few things. Asmongold wasn't demanding anything, he was commenting on something. Second, this isn't even Asmongold's take. This is a take that gay guys, lesbians and bisexual people have been talking about for years now, brother. Years. Say hello to Brad Palumbo. He's gay.
Ha! Gay!
And he's been talking about this shit for years, dude. Like, there's been debates about this stuff. You know those ones from Jubilee? I think, I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. They're pretty big on YouTube and Patreon. They do all kinds of debates on social issues where they invite conservatives and liberals to talk. It's like a very popular format that's been copied by others, and this whole issue here of separating the LGB from the T has been a topic for years within their own communities. And they cited the exact same reasons that Asmon just cited. So it isn't even just a thing where Asmon is coming at it from the outside with hatred and demands or not understanding the problem. No, it's the exact same shit. Part of it is because the LGB is just about sexual orientation, so it has nothing to do with identity, like the trans thing. It's not about who you are, it's about who you bang in the alleyway behind the nightclub. Not that I would know anything about that, of course. Being gay or bi was never an identity thing. Like, you can be a lesbian chick and you can have a bit of a cliche butch look. I'm not saying that that doesn't exist, but many of them don't. They just look like everyday girls with no identifiers of their orientation. Same thing with gay guys. Some of them do the whole cliche effeminate thing, sure, true, but many of them don't. They just look like you watching this video right now. Hey, take it easy, guys. Hold on, alright? Don't unsubscribe. It was just a joke, okay? Take it easy, alright? Come on. I just got the 23,000 subscribers last Monday, okay? Let's chill out. Thank you for 23k, by the way. 23k.2 already. Like, you guys are awesome and you're killing it. And 100% straight, of course. 100%. I would never even question that. You know, except for the ones who aren't. Anyway, never mind, let's get back to it. So some look effeminate, some don't, they just look like everyday guys. Some dress this way, some dress another way, some are liberal, some are conservative, some are hitting the gym, others have dad bods. I think they even call them bears or something like that. If you want more information about that though, you need to check out Brad Palumbo's channel. Either that or The Act Man.
Got him! Got him!
Okay, we do some jokes here. Anyway, and other issues that they have where they make them want to separate themselves from the T is the trans issue, because people like Andy Cortez here create problems for them by blindly supporting shit like child transitioning and associating it to the LGBTQ community as a whole, without any notion whatsoever for the consequences that that is bringing to individuals who want nothing to do with that. Like, literally people who just want to live their lives normally without going into these extremes. People like Candy do all this virtue signaling because it's easy and cheap for them to do. They don't really care. They don't really engage with these issues. They just say whatever's popular to look nice in the picture, and then they go back to mind their business far, far away from any of the consequences of the things they just mouthed off about. People like Asmongold, on the other hand, you may disagree with some of his takes sometimes, but at least he dives deeper into these issues and presents people with harsh realities of it. And the most hilarious part is this. Let's listen to it again.
Yeah, trans is a big problem. Well, I don't know about being a big problem. I don't think it's a big problem. What I'm saying is, like, the trans issues are, they're much more divisive and they're much more, like, people have like much stronger feelings on the trans issues than they do about gay issues or something like that. Obviously, there's some people that don't like any of it, but in a general sense, I think that's what's going on.
He explicitly says he does not see trans as being really the big problem. He just acknowledges trans issues are much more divisive and inflammatory, which is true. Of course they are. I just give an example that is a literal game breaker for like 90% of people out there, if not more. And so of course men and women out there who merely have a gay or bi orientation would rather detach themselves from all of this toxic drama and discourse that has devolved into a brutal ideological battleground. These are just the facts. But does that surf moron give them to you despite saying his channel is about delivering news? Nope. Does Andy present him when trying to call out Asmongold? Nope. They just fucking lie, because they're scum, irrelevant scum, drying out in the sun because they have no cultural capital. So the only way they can get it is by rage baiting with lies off of bigger names than their own. And it gets even better than that. Here's some replies. Some person asked, why draw more attention to him and his message? I would just ignore it. It'll go away. Some dude named Rob drops a truth bomb, because Andy Cortez is as much a grifter as the people he calls out. And bam! That triggered him, so here's his reply. Grifting? There's no money in supporting left-leaning causes unless I tried to become a drama politics streamer. If you want views, that's what you do. There's money in making incel losers angry about things that'll never affect them. So 2 things. First, so you're just lying and being retarded online for free? Damn, Andy, that's rough. But second, and most importantly, what is he, delusional? The only reason he has a career is because of being left-leaning. His whole goddamn industry revolves around it. In fact, the next and final point of this video is all about how Kinda Funny got rid of a colleague of theirs because he was right-wing. Come on, man. My brother. You guys rose to prominence by getting in good with the industry, and as the industry filled itself with far-left activism, you fell in line and defended them at every turn. Every time you attack someone like Asmongold by blatantly lying and misinterpreting what he says, you are continuing to do just that. And you do it because you need it. You have to fall in line and shill for everything that comes out, never utter a single original thought or criticize anything earnestly because you need them to give you free-range access to every upcoming release. Be it from small studios or indie developers all the way to the AAA titans of the industry. You are defending and feeding into the system that sustains you, and if you ever dare to have a single original thought or a mere joke like your buddy Colin did that ever so slightly deviates from your programming or from what your industry deems acceptable or the optics online, you get dumped. And that's why we also have clips like this from Greg Jones over at the DICE Awards earlier this year in February, I believe it was, where he walked up on stage channeling as much macho energy as he could muster, and he said this.
Thank you, Rod. Of course, that is a game that takes real skill.
It does. Yeah, and I'm not trying to flatter everyone here, but if I know one thing about this audience, it's that none of you had to pay someone to play Diablo for you.
It's hard to level up your own characters when you're dismantling democracy.
I feel like we're in good company here, but just in case for the people online, if you get mad at that joke, it's Greg Miller. G-R-E-G.
M-I-L-L-E-R. Fuck Elon Musk and fuck Donald Trump.
Oh, there's his real name. It's Greg Milker. Sorry guys, my bad. I think I got it wrong earlier. Greg Pilsner. Make sure to remember that going forward, guys. So anyway, wasn't that brave and stunning? See all the cheering too? That's because nobody really goes to these events. These events are by the industry, for the industry. It's a fart-sniffing venue where game developers, game journalists, and other elites in the games industry go to cope together. To pat each other on the back, to give each other awards, and celebrate one another for their fucking flops. It's like a Golden Globes mixed with a therapy session for these people. And honestly guys, it would be fine, like it's fine, it's not a bad event to have. What sucks is that it makes no sense when the games industry is in the state that it is. It becomes a total joke, something with no taste whatsoever. And there is such a massive echo chamber going on that at one point, the co-host, which is the lady next to Greg, Stella Chung, drops a Concord joke about how short its existence was, and the wankers in the audience responded with boos and groans.
Of course, we know you're excited for the awards part of our awards show.
Yeah, so that's why the producers have asked us to keep the show tight this year.
And they mean as short as possible.
Ooh, kind of like the amount of time Concord existed.
And the show is over. We'll see you next year.
Well,
it was a sad thing, but trust me, if you thought that was the worst joke of the night, strap in.
Oh, no, sir. No self-deprecating jokes about blowing hundreds of millions of dollars allowed. See, it's much easier to just stand up there and go Trump bad and Elon bad than it is to acknowledge that this industry is being run by retards who drive projects into the ground, which then results in studios being driven into the ground and getting mass layoffs and shutdowns. The same mass layoffs and government shutdowns that they then bitch and moan about, some of whom in the game's media even like to blame on tariffs. Because of course, it couldn't have anything to do with their own work and decisions, never mind all the other successes in the industry, never mind how this year, 2025, has been utterly dominated by standout indie projects that came out and took the internet by storm with fun gameplay, ideas, and fair pricing, or in the case of Expedition 33, an all-round unique, soulful design, storytelling, music, writing, etc., which even makes the game look AAA. So yeah, it just kinda goes to show you the caliber of audience that Greggy Boy had over here and why he has to pander to them. It's all just one big circle jerk and they hate anyone that disrupts it. That's why they hate Asmongold for shedding light on it. That's why they hate small fry like me for talking about it, and why they hate you for not buying their games, therefore not sustaining them. It's a big club and you ain't in it, am I right, fellas? But let's segue away from that now and give context to the whole Colin thing that I mentioned earlier, so we can finish the video off in a bang, but not one of those bangs that you have on the back of a nightclub alleyway, which I don't know anything about that. Why are you guys even bringing that shit up? It's weird. So you know what else this Cringe squad did? They got rid of a guy over a joke, and that guy is someone we actually talked about recently in another video in relation to Ghost of Yotai's sales. It's Colin Moriarty. We roasted him in the last video and now we are defending him on this video. Because this guy got totally cancel cultured over nothing, guys. Like, I mean it, dudes. Nothing. It's the most hilarious thing if you don't know about the story, because it may make you wonder, well, if a hip, young, active, and totally independent games media thing on YouTube, no less, a rogue group of gaming guys got rid of a dude over something he said, then holy shit, it must have been really, really bad. It must have been the kind of stuff you just don't come back from.
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
Humongous.
Humongous what?
That's what it is.
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment?
No, it's humongous.
Then why did you say that to me?
That's my name.
But nope, it was just this. Feast your eyes on it, fellas. If you're an audio listener, please divert your gaze into the screen right now. On March 8th of 2017, on International Women's Day, there was an organized strike for women to participate in, to complain about consumerism and gender inequalities, you know, classic 2017 shit. And so, in the context of this day, some women did not show up to work. It was a strike. So Colin Moriarty made this boomer joke saying, "Ah, peace and quiet." That's it. That's the tweet that got him nuked. It's a fucking dad joke, dude. It's the kind of superficial cliche shit that everyone has heard, and that means nothing real. It's not an attack. Like if you go here, for example, on articles covering this nonsense, like this one from Polygon, you will see them describing this as an offensive tweet and as sexist. Oh no, an offensive tweet. Offensive to who exactly? Women? What about the women who defended Moriarty when this happened? Could it be that perhaps the tweet is not really offensive to women and is instead offensive to retards with no sense of humor, like his dumb fuck friends at Kinda Funny Games? Could that at all be possible? Can we explore this avenue here, fellas? Oh, the articles really milked this for all it had too. Like, you got them going on here about how Colin Moriarty is known for his broadly right-wing views. Oh, goodness gracious. That he showed up on right-wing outlets like the Glenn Beck Show and the Rubin Report to discuss politics. Oh, goodness gracious, how could this be? A right-winger in the gammon industry. Check out this one. Moriarty's comment through criticism from his current and former colleagues at Kinda Funny and IGN, who appeared to lament the sexist tone of the joke and fan response to blowback. And then you got this guy over here going, "Is this really the person you want to be?" Oh, goodness gracious. How could you, Colin? How could you be this way? How could you clearly, very clearly, very transparently advocate for the eradication of women from the planet, as you so clearly stated with those harsh words?
That's what it is.
Humongous what? Is that sexual harassment?
No, it's humongous.
Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious, no, Colin! What are you, a fucking wuss or something? What is this? What a fucking clown show this was, guys. They strung this guy up and they ravaged him in public view because they knew that it was netting them internet points. They took this guy and his innocent joke and they nailed him up to a post on a public square just to dog on him constantly. A virtue signaling shitfest so they could contrast themselves from him on the garbage platform that was Twitter in these years. Colleagues and former colleagues throwing him under the bus and then running over him over and over and over again over some nonsensical dad joke. It's not an attack, it's nothing real, dude, it's a dad joke. We all heard this shit before, I know I did. We'd do these big family events in the countryside, and all the women, they would arrive, we'd all greet each other, and then all the women would head off and do their thing. Sisters and sisters-in-law gleefully greeting one another while the men sat outside, quietly nodding to one another like, hey fellas, how's it going? And then eventually one uncle would just go, finally. Some quiet, and all of us would laugh because haha, there it is, the classic women bad joke. And you know what's funny is that the women did the same exact shit. Off they'd go yapping to one another, and at some point some aunt would go, finally, some peace, and all the women would laugh because haha, there it is, the classic man bad joke. Dude, I gotta tell you, I am so glad that this fucking disgusting mental illness that is a woke mind virus isn't so prominent where I live when it comes to like the real life stuff. On a previous year's Women's Day, I was getting bread from a bakery/cafe over here, and since it was a Women's Day kind of thing, they were running some kind of menu or whatever. One guy was just sitting at the tables and he just shouted, hey, what about Men's Day? Why don't we have one of those? Just as a joke, the usual dude bro kind of thing. And the waitress just said, they do, it's called April 1st. And everybody just laughed because they were normal. Normal. Exactly what these morons are lacking. And at the end of the day, you know what also happened in those family events too? Everybody just went home together as a family and they're still married to this day. You wanna know why? Because they have a fucking sense of humor. Imagine that, fellas. A sense of humor, something that is rare these days but damn near non-existent in the dark ages of 2016 to 2020. And something that to this day, ironically enough, is missing from these washed out, talentless, punk-ass window lickers at Kinda Funny Games. An organization that has gone full access media, led by humorless soy jacks like Greg Wilson and his sidekick Andy Anderson, who can barely pull in more views than a channel with only 23,000 subscribers. Once again, thank you for the 23k, fellas. And that's if you can even watch any of their content, because if you go click on their channel, you'll be greeted by an overwhelming amount of paywalled content. Seriously, go have a look for yourselves, guys. It's youtube.com/@kindafunnygames. Click their videos tab and have a scroll. 90% of them are going to be members only videos, doesn't matter if they're recent or months old. They're even worse than fucking IGN. Not only are they sustained by access to the industry, but they also have to nickel and dime access to their own videos from you, the viewer. And I'm sorry guys, but there's no way in hell that I'm going to be giving them a single cent to have a look at these myself, but given the thumbnails on many of these, it looks like their production budget is sometimes, at least sometimes, a fucking cell phone camera pointed at them while they're driving. I guess this is the level of work you can expect from Greg Gregson, games media legend extraordinaire. He'll sit in his fucking car and review a movie on his way to Chuck E. Cheese. And these are locked out too, so he's gonna be doing this for, oh my god, $10 a month? What the fuck? Dude, this isn't even like $1 or $2 for access. They want $10 out of you so you can watch their locked content. And for $5 a month, they'll give you emotes. Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't believe this. $10 fucking dollars. Did Greg learn this from his contacts at EA? I went looking and I actually found some people calling this out to Andy Cortez, and he just got all mad at them and told them to read the description. They are ad-free. They're ad-free, you grifter. Bitch, for $10 they better be ad-free, and honestly they better come with a massage on top. And not even just a regular massage, I'm talking about one of those massages in the back of the night. Let's hear it for Kinda Funny Games, guys. Put your hands together for the kings of excess media cringe on YouTube, making you pay for regular ass videos that thousands of other channels make available for free, with honestly better and more honest commentary that isn't bought and paid for by access. And with a lot more humor too, because they're not composed of a cucked out team of soy boys that is afraid of jokes. Here's to Andy Cortez and Greg Davidson, and sadly the other guys they have locked under their bullshit, where even if they are talented, even if they have higher standards, even if they would like to do their own thing or let loose a bit more and actually criticize the games that they're playing, they can't. Because if they do, their boys at the top will drag them out, crucify them in public, and then make them quit on their own, as they did to Colin, if you catch my drift. To these fellas, if they exist, because I'm gonna be frank with you guys, again, as I said in the beginning of the video, I wouldn't know. I don't know them from Adam. I just don't want to be unfair because I know what it's like to be forced to do things that you don't agree with. So to these fellas, if it is the case, best you guys can do is break out. Start your own channels and do your own thing. You don't need them and their restrictions. You don't even need their access. All you need is what you bring to the table and a little bit of luck. And with that, we're done on this one, boys. It actually ended up being way longer than I intended, but you know, when we get going, we get going. Thank you very much for watching if you made it this far. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and say hi down in the comments. Thanks again for another subscriber milestone and for sticking around. I'll see you all on the next one. Take care.